Good afternoon, people of the internet. Nate Hills here, coming at you once again from my man cave. I know you guys have been used to watching me get drunk and build the bicycle, but this video is going to be a little different, and as you can see, the bike is already built. Pete was hard at work for the last couple of weeks. He's actually giving him the day off because he's so tired. He's at summer camp today. This is more of a tech-focused, setup focused, to give you guys some actual ride impressions, talk about some differences from this bike to the SB150 I had prior to this. Yeah, a little different angle. I'm still gonna have a cocktail, but yeah. Before we get too far into this build, I want to be completely transparent and let you know that this video is sponsored by Worldwide Cyclery. If you need anything bike related, everything's available on their website right now. I will put a link in the video description. If you use that link, it will go to help support this channel. So thank you ahead of time for that. Thanks to them for sponsoring the video. And yeah, let's begin. This is Yeti's SB150. It's their largest 29er platform, most travel 29er platform for enduro racing, running into big obstacles with reckless abandon. You would say that you would let her buck. I've ridden this all over Whistler Bike Park. I'm always amazed at what this big-wheeled weapon will put up with. I have been riding my SB130 lunch ride for the last 4 months until I built this thing 2 weeks ago. When I think about the differences of the two, basically this bike is just a little bit slacker and longer, and obviously 150 millimeters of travel over 137 in the rear. This is also a 170 fork instead of the 160 that's on my 130. I can ride my 130 pretty aggressively, right? Like, I get away with murder on that thing. But I kind of forgot how this thing actually takes it up to the next level, and I can be really stupid on this bike. I've been riding Axis for about a year now, and it's honestly a game changer as far as drivetrain goes. And here's the nice thing about Axis is when it takes a rock impact, it actually moves. Listen closely. After I hit it, it moves back to where it was. Pretty sweet. So there's that. I hear they complain a lot that this derailleur is too expensive and I'm gonna break it and shear it off my bike, but it actually moves out of the way for you. You can smash it into rocks. As you can see, this thing, I've been riding for a couple of weeks and it's already all beat up because I've been being disrespectful to my bicycle. Another difference to note of this build is that I have a 170 dropper post on here as opposed to a 150 on my last 150. Having that extra 20 millimeters, it's just a little bit less than an inch for you Americans. 20 millimeters, you don't really realize it until you ride along your drop seat post that's actually pretty nice to have that extra 20 millimeters. I can ride steeper things more confidently without the seat jammed up my ass, which is nice. Let's talk about the fork. I know that's why you came here, because you want to see the fork. It's gray and new. Zeb just got released to the public. This fork is named for Zebulon Pike, who was the first explorer to ever try and summit Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs. What's the difference between Zeb and Lyric? So Zeb is basically bridging the gap between Boxer and Lyric. Lyric, I've always been happy with it. It's an awesome fork for its intended use. It's right where you want to be for super aggressive trail riding, enduro, that sort of thing. Zeb is a bit more stiff, a bit more aggressive, and up to the task of really rough terrain. This is sort of like Totem was, whenever that was, years ago. Totem was ahead of its time and people didn't maybe grasp that concept of a beefy single crown. Alright, so a couple of cool things about this fork. These are 38 millimeter stanchions. No, this is not a response to Fox's 38. This has been in development for 2 years before any of that was a thing, so just remember that before you leave hateful comments on Pink Bike. What I notice most when I'm riding it is that the fork doesn't flex as much. More so, it moves like it's supposed to and doesn't bind. This is due to added chassis stiffness and bushing overlap. So a stiffer fork translates to the fork sliding actually more smoothly and not bending just a little bit. Like every fork has some engineered flex. That's normal. It has to flex a little bit. It's always finding that happy point that's going to feel best for rider input. This Zeb is 5 millimeters taller axle to crown. So a little bit of a height increase, like 170 to 170 fork. This thing's 5 millimeters taller, so it lifts my front end, slacks the bike out just a little bit. This guy does come with an option of an integrated fender. It's those little things that actually make quite a difference. I always run fenders because I'm always filming and I don't want shit on my lens. So this is sweet. I don't have to use zip ties and junk shit the thing on there. This is just a clean, simple solution. It's just a piece of plastic. Another difference to note is that this is direct mount 200 mil rotor. So you can't even run a 180 rotor on this. And to be honest, that's what this is intended for, is riding really fast, and you need a big rotor. That's part of the game. So kind of nice that that's direct mount. I am running a 200 in back as well. Honestly, it's laughable how much less hand fatigue I get and how much more confidently I can ride when I'm not tired on steep trails. So that's sweet. Damper in here is Charger 2.1 with a Debonair air spring. The reason it's different, the new air spring, is because it gives you an increase in ride height without losing the top supple bit. Support is what you want when you're riding an aggressive terrain. You don't want your fork packed in and bottomed out when you're hitting the third rock in a row, right? You want that thing up and high, and I don't know what else we need to know. It's slippery and smooth and tequila. Man, the performance honestly has blown me out of the water. I can ride like a complete jerk through rough anything, and I don't get bounced off line, I don't get deflected. I can really dive into turns and it holds me up and supports me. The difference in the setup from this to Lyric, in Lyric I run about 73 PSI with 2 tokens. In this guy I'm running 56 with 1 token is what I settled upon for my happy spot. Yeah, match that thing to this Super Deluxe Ultimate Coil in the back and you have yourself a smash wagon. If you stick around until the end, you might actually get a drink recipe. Not that I'm a big drinker. Another difference on this bike is I have this new 52 tooth cassette. I didn't really need bigger gears. I've always run a 36 for the last bunch of years. This 52 represents the smallest gearing I've run in more than 10 years. And whatever. It's nice. To be perfectly honest, if I could fit a 38 tooth chainring on this bike, I would. That would be pretty equivalent to 3650, like the old setup that I have run forever and I'm used to. Guy like me, I kind of like pushing hard gears. I like to suffer a bit, so I was okay with the original cassette, but this might be something that people are interested in if they want just a little bit of added rest on the climbs. Another thing to note on this bike is these newly released Ergon GD1 Evos. A little bit of soft rubber under here for your thumb when you're reaching over. They've also reduced the flange size so it doesn't get in the way of your paddle, anything like that. They come in this sweet moss color, which is actually pretty rad, blends into the ground nicely. Oil slick, it matches my cassette. Purple ano, purple ano, purple ano, purple ano. They're calling it oil slick. Same wheel setup I've been riding on all the bikes recently. These are Zip 30 motos. Have the built-in ankle compliance. They move a bit when you smash into things and keep you from getting pinch flats and deflecting off the trail. They feel wicked in the off cambers and stick to the ground. I've been super impressed with these wheels. To be completely honest, I treat them horribly, and I haven't been able to break one yet. Yeah, on this bike, I've been switching it up a bit and run the Assegai out front as my new front tire, which overtook the Minion DHF, which is the standard in front tires for, I don't know, more than 10 years. But now I'm kind of liking the DHF in back. Yeah, this is an EXO Plus casing. Typically enough on this bike to keep me from getting pinch flats. So I weigh 145 pounds. Keep me from ripping holes in it. I do run a double down Assegai in front. This has been my go-to new front tire. It's super rad in dry conditions, tons of grip, and I like a heavier front wheel. It feels better to me for some reason, a little more confidence, a little more planted. So this is also the max grip compound, so it's softer, wears out faster, ideal for a front tire for grabbing traction wherever you can. As far as tire pressures go, I typically run 25 to 30 in the rear, and then -2 PSI in the front. If I'm riding natural terrain, roots, rocks, smashing into things, steep loam, dirt, that sort of thing, I'll go down in pressure just a little bit. If I'm riding like Moab or Sedona where there's a ton of rock and a lot of hard compressions and you don't want your tires flexing all over and feeling crappy, I'll run higher pressures. You want your tires to comply to the ground without feeling squirmy. So ride impressions on this thing, yeah, I've been amazed at what I can do with this fork and a little bit taller front end. It basically is a plow. I call this bike Mr. Plow. I run into things, cinder blocks, small children, baby heads, whatever's on the ground in my way. You can really just be a jerk and it's cool, it's all good. This thing tracks dead straight and it makes me laugh because there's no getting bounced around, no loss of control. It almost feels like Boxer to me. Letter E. Let's talk geometry for a second. SB150, aggressive enduro race bike. 77-degree seat angle actually makes this thing climbable. Long days in the saddle, no big deal with that. Much appreciated because I want to be able to pedal my bike up some steep crap for hours and then ride down it like it's a downhill bike. I mean, that's the goal, right? It's not going to climb like a cross-country race bike, doesn't climb like my SB100, but I can ride downhill with reckless abandon, and that's where this bike is beautiful. Letter Buck. So stock is 64.5 with a 170 fork. So I'm saying this thing is sitting at about 64. SB130 Lunch Ride with a 160 fork sits at about 65. So yeah, it's about a degree slacker than what I've been riding for the last few months. Still running a 40mm stem. This is a 44mm offset, in case you were wondering. When I'm descending, it still feels nimble. It doesn't feel like the bike's too long. Yeah, it's a pretty good happy medium. Kind of where you want to be as far as offset, I think, on this bike. Let's talk anti-squat. So the Yeti Switch Infinity, that's the beauty of it. The anti-squat characteristics, basically when you're pushing into the bike, it actually supports you, holds you up, doesn't feel wet noodly and waggy. The harder you ride this thing, the better it feels, honestly. And this whole bike holds you up out of the ground. You hit the 17th rock in a row, your suspension is not all squatted up and feeling poochy. This is a trail bike that I can go anywhere in the world and ride any trail in the world with confidence. I'd rather be overbiked personally than underbiked. I know it's real trendy to like ride these small bikes now and they feel really nimble and that's real sweet, but I can ride like a complete asshole on this bike and it keeps me off the ground, so that's fine. I'll gladly put up with a little bit of extra weight and a little bit less climbing prowess than a cross-country bike for the safety and confidence that I can ride with on the descent, because let's be honest, we're only climbing so that we can descend. That's why we run bike still, right? Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns. Let me know if I'm an idiot in the comments. I don't know way my bikes. Sorry. Yeah, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully this will inspire you to go outside and ride your bicycle. Meat stick. On a side note, this new Smith full face is pretty rad. I haven't been testing it. I haven't hit my head on the ground yet, but it's comfortable to ride in and it's lightweight. So maybe when I slap and break my visor off, it'll save my life. Big thanks to Worldwide Cyclery for sponsoring this video. Again, I'll put a link down below. If you use that link, it supports this channel. So thanks to those guys. I also want to mention that I am a professional athlete. I work with all these companies. All the parts you see on this bike were given to me. Just want to be transparent with that. These are companies that I've chosen to work with, and these are the parts that I want on my bike, but fair enough, I work with these guys. So thanks to them for all the continued support and letting me ride rad bikes and get you guys stoked on them. So, cheers. If you guys want to check out my original SB150 build video, I'll link it up here. This is what people on YouTube do when they want you to click a box on the screen. Alright guys, if you're still here, I suppose I do owe you a cocktail recipe. Yeah, this is how we do it. I've been drinking a lot of tequila lately. I prefer Blanco in my margarita, so this is kind of my go-to. This is a pretty cheap, good value, I should say, not cheap, good value bottle. You can also make this drink with whiskey. This is some pretty sweet laws. This is a Yeti Golden Giddy Up, which is a old race that gave out a bottle of whiskey. So step one, you're gonna wanna fill your glass with ice. I take a pinch of kosher salt instead of the rim. I just put it right in there because we're athletes and we're trying to recover, so you gotta have your salt. Yeah, next step, I'll do a shot of tequila, and yeah, a little more, yeah. We have this sweet Yeti stainless shot glass. That's good for something. Next step, pepper time. So know your peppers. Serrano, jalapeno, habanero. Kind of go in this order, from spiciest to mellowest. And it's always roulette, you never know quite what you're gonna get, but I'm a habanero guy, so I'm gonna slice up a little bit of this. You can just smell it burning. Put that in there. So yeah, you can eat as much of this or as little as this as you want. It's actually a little spicy. Yeah, be careful with that if you're not accustomed to putting hot things in your mouth. Always wear your helmet when you're eating habaneros and drinking tequila. That's my recommendation for you. I like to use an entire lime. You want to use one that's like brown and beat up a little bit. It's usually a little bit sweeter. I maybe just made that up, but I'm going with that. And even if you drop it on the floor, you're just gonna go ahead and pick it up and use it. Second rule. So, yeah. So the juice of one whole lime. Don't even think about using some fake lime juice shit. Just use a real lime. And I always put the half a lime in there. That one goes over there. And I top it off with some bubbly water out of my soda stream because I hate wasting cans and bottles and whatever, so I have a soda stream. And go like that. Always stir with a knife. And that's pretty much it. You can make it with whiskey, vodka, gin, tequila, whatever you like. That's a big one. Thanks for watching, guys. Drink responsibly, internet.